Join me in this full body functional strength yoga practice. Come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Stand with the feet hip width apart, feeling grounded, raising the hands up to the sky, looking up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. We're going to do this 3 times. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Now we're going to come into standing cat curls. Inhale, lift the chest, arch the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to round the back, drawing the belly in. This warm-up is great for the spine. It's going to improve mobility, and it's key for preventing stiffness as we get older. Now just keep curling, looking up, looking down, arching the spine. Exhale, rounding the back, drawing the belly in. Inhale, lift the chest, arch the spine. Exhale, round the back, drawing the belly in. Now, these movements are going to help with muscle stability to help you move with confidence in everyday life and to stay strong as we age. Now, we're going to take the hands up above the head and we're going to come into standing side stretch. Stretching through the ribs and the side body, lengthening through the tips of the fingers. We're going to hold this for 5 breaths, just feeling the space open up between the ribs. And this is going to support deep breathing, core engagement. And we're going to switch over sides. Lengthening through the tips of the fingers, really enjoying that stretch in the side body. Gently standing tall and changing over sides. Stretching through those ribs, into the side body, lengthening through the tips of the fingers. Inhale, exhale as we extend over to the opposite side. Lengthening and extending. Now we're going to come in to Uttanasana or chair pose. So reach the arms forward, keeping the core engaged. This is going to strengthen the thighs, the glutes, the lower back, the key muscle groups that we need for maintaining mobility and preventing knee pain, guys. So we're going to hold this for 5 deep breaths. Now we can take the hands to the hips in front of us in prayer position, or palms together, fingers up towards the sky. Now from here, we are going to shift into Warrior 2. Still lengthening through the tips of the fingers in opposite directions. Stretching through the top of the head, looking towards the fingers, the front arm. Coming into Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. Into Warrior 1 from 2. So pressing into that front foot, engaging the core, lifting the hands overhead. This is going to strengthen the legs, the core, the back. It's going to help with hip mobility. And then we're going to come in to reclined warrior. Reversing that warrior, lengthening through the tips of the fingers. This is going to help us to support walking and standing for long periods. We're going to come back into Uttanasana, back into that chair pose, and we're going to do this vinyasa again. So again, hands to the hips, in front in prayer position, or above the head in prayer. Looking forward, thighs parallel to the mat if this is accessible to us. Engaging that core. Coming into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Knees should be directly above the ankle. Palms directly above the mat. Lengthening through the tips of the fingers, lengthening through the top of the head, engaging that core as we come into Virabhadrasana or Warrior 1. Palms together, looking towards the tip of the nose. We're helping to improve our balance, our strength, strengthening those hip flexors as well, stretching the hamstrings as we come into reverse warrior, lengthening through that back hand. Knee should still be above the ankle, lengthening through the tips of the fingers, enjoying yet another stretch in the side body. And as we come back to center, we're going to take another gentle back bend. Just bending as much as accessible for you as we move forward into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. allowing the weight to fall through the top of the head. Placing the hands in the mat, flexing out those knees, alternating knees. Coming into Dalasana or pendulum pose. Again, allowing the weight of the body to fall through the head. Really enjoying that lower back stretch. And we can come from side to side, releasing the lower back. Walking the thick tips of the fingers to opposite sides. Again, a gorgeous side stretch to that body. Both sides. Remembering to breathe and just walking those fingertips back to center when you're ready, back into forward fold. Shaking that head side to side, releasing the jaw, allowing the body to fall forward, heavy and relaxed. Now this sequence is going to be working in the core and functional mobility. And we're going to come back into that vinyasa, Uttanasana, chair pose. Arms up, core engaged. This is going to help prevent knee pain as well. We're going to hold it for 5 breaths before we move in to Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2, lengthening through the tips of those fingers. Extending through the top of the head, engaging the core, pulling up in the pelvic floor. Strong, grounded warrior. And then we're going to flex into warrior 1, lengthening through the tips of the fingers, looking towards the tip of the nose. We can step that right foot out slightly. And the knee should be directly above the ankle. And we're going to flex back into reverse warrior again. Now this pose is going to challenge your balance, strengthen the legs, and engage the deep core muscles that support that lower back. We are really going to enjoy that side stretch before we move back to Uttanasana, chair pose once again. Core engaged, pulling up in the pelvic floor, strengthening those thighs, glutes, lower back. 5 breaths here before we move back into warrior 2 on the opposite side, Virabhadrasana 2. Stretching through the top of the head, lengthening through the tips of those fingers. The body should be in the center of the hips, centered, feet grounded. Front foot to 90 degrees, back foot to 45. Really extending into those arms before we shift that back foot out and come into Virabhadrasana 1. Lengthening through the tips of the fingers, looking towards the tips of the nose. Knee directly above the ankle. Strengthening those legs, deepening the core muscles. And reversing that warrior, lengthening through the tips of the fingers. Bending into that front knee, enjoying the stretch in the side body. And then we come back into standing forward bend, Uttanasana, enjoying Dalasana, stretching out that back. Hands to the floor if it's available, bending the knees if we have to. Remembering to breathe, inhale, following the exhale. Really enjoying that forward fold as we feel the body begin to open. We're going to step those feet back and we're going to come into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to come into chaturanga and into upward facing dog and flexing over back into down dog. So we're going to enjoy this little vinyasa, chaturanga, down halfway, up into upward dog or cobra, whatever's available, flexing back into down dog. Rolling forward into chaturanga, up dog, looking up towards the third eye. Exhale, coming back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. This gorgeous rolling movement is just going to open up and strengthen the body. So we're going to be releasing all of those areas of tightness, but also strengthening glutes, the hamstrings, the arms, the core. and settling into Bhujangasana or Cobra pose. We're going to take the head from side to side nice and slowly before we come into Navasana or boat pose. So lift the feet off the ground, keep the spine long, engage the lower body to stabilize. We're going to hold this for 5 and then drop down and come back up. We're going to do it 3 times. And this is going to engage the deep core muscles. Now these protect the spine and improve your posture. Hold for 5 breaths, lower and repeat. 3 times, ladies. Taking those calves parallel to the mat again, lengthening through the top of the head, taking the navel towards the thighs, extending through the fingertips. Nice straight back. Try not to curve into that back. Engage those deep core muscles. Five more breaths. Navasana, boat pose. Keep that spine long. Engage the lower body to help, lower belly to help you stabilize here. And coming down. And from here, we are going to come into forearm plank. Now we are going to hold this for whatever's available. I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds. If you can do 10 or 15 and then drop down and back up, that's fine. So just stacking those feet. You can take the knees down if this is too strong for you, or as I said, you can drop down after 10 or 15 seconds instead of 30. This targets the obliques and the shoulders. It really helps with overall stability and reduces the risk of back pain ongoing as well. Now remember to breathe, engaging that core. And then we come into upward facing dog. An upward facing dog to down dog, from down dog to pigeon, taking that right knee between the hands. And if it's available, we're going to take the back foot towards the buttocks. And we're going to look over that back shoulder. So I'm gently shifting into a mermaid pose. Now that pigeon is going to open the hips. The hips have a lot of tension here, a lot of tightness, especially if we're sitting at a desk all day. And we're going to do this for 5 breaths on each side. So taking the opposite heel to the buttocks, looking over the back shoulder, enjoying a nice twist in this pigeon. So then we're going to take the soles of the feet together and recline backwards. We're going to come into reclined Baddha Konasana, or cobbler pose, extending the hands up to the sky, palms facing upwards. You can play around with the feet, taking the heels as close or as far from the groin as is comfortable. The closer we take the heels to the groin, the more we open those hips. And finally, we lie down for Savasana. Let the arms rest by the sides, palms facing up, closing the eyes, and take a deep inhale and a slow exhale. Just feeling your body relax, absorbing all the strength and balance from today's practice. And when you're ready, just gently bring your awareness back. Take one last deep breath and exhale.